Hi, Twisty here, bass player for the Reckless Empire. I thought I'd spend some time in this video to answer some of the questions that have been coming up on our Facebook page around the gear that I use when playing live. As you can see, this is the gear that rocks up to the gig. Let's take you through it now. Let's start with the cabinets. I use Markbass cabinets. You'll see here two 2x10 traveller cabinets. For most gigs in the smaller venues, I get away with just the 2x10. However, if I need a little bit more volume, I bring the 2, makes it equivalent to a 4x10. But if I play a very big stage, I also have two 4x10s, which I can connect in to either make two 6x10s or go with the two 4x10s. As I said, for most gigs I get away with a 2x10 traveller. For bass amplification on stage, I use the Markbass F500. You can see the stickers on the left showing the settings that I used to use when I used to use the amp with the pedal board. I have two of these because of the Yamaha Attitude bass with the dual pickups. I had two amplifiers. Now that I'm using Helix and I can simulate that dual output through the single Helix device, predominantly I use the bottom one, the second one is as a spare. Now that I use the Helix, I don't need the preamp section of the amp, so therefore I really only use the master volume and the mute switch. On the back sides of the amps, you can see the right hand side holds two Nutric speaker cable connections. This is where I connect into the either one or two cabinets. There's a DI or direct out that can be either pre or post amp. There's a ground lift, there's a send and return, and there's also a tuner out. My configuration is that I connect my Helix into the return to bypass the preamp and just use the power stage. From there I'm connecting either one or two of the cabinets. Instead of using the preamp section of the amp, I'm using the Line 6 HX Stomp. I come out of the Helix into the return of the F500, which allows me to bypass the preamp. All the configuration from then on becomes HX Stomp. I've recently switched over to the Line 6 Relay G10S wireless. I have two because of the Yamaha Attitude with two inputs. Previous to this configuration, I was using my Line 6 Helix LT and a pair of G50s. Work perfectly, but I find this is much more convenient. I can go with just the stomp and the wireless in a single pedal board, or I can take that with my amp, or I can take it with the amp and the cabs. Another benefit of using it this way is if you're the last band and you've got to bring the bass gear, this allows someone else to use your preamp and output, change it to whatever settings you like, and it completely gets bypassed when you plug in the stomp. Recent gig as an example, the previous bass player used the bottom amp, he changed the EQ, the settings to whatever he liked. My stomp was plugged into the return, it made absolutely no effect, all I changed was the master volume. For in-ear monitoring, I was using the Shure SE45s, they were really good. However, at NAMM last year I managed to pick up some in-ear molds. So I'm using the Perfect Seal. These are amazing. They're an 8-driver unit. They're absolutely fantastic. Perfect Seal. Check them out. For the price, they were just unreal. And for the wireless, I'm using the Mi Pro 808s. The transceiver goes into our in-ear mixing desk, which is under a different video. And this is the wireless pack that I use. Stereo, great, sounds perfect, especially with the Helix. I'm now going to try and beat my friend Jon Willis's significantly fast setup time and see how I go from unpack to guitar on. Now I've got to pre-warn you, I did pre-drop some power and I've already unpacked my guitar. So apart from that, let's see how we go. don't think I beat Jon Willis's time, but you can see it's relatively quickly to set up stomp into the return, amp into the cabinet, Wi-Fi in the guitar. Can't get too more simpler. One point on these new G10Ss, because I'm using two, I've got them both set to auto channel discovery. You'll notice I paused when I did one of them. So the whole idea is set one, let it go green, then let the other one find a channel, then put it in. It's a little bit more of a delay than plugging both straight in, but I find that if you make sure these are the last things that go on in your signal chain, so all other Wi-Fi units first, then you do that sequence, one, then the other one, then I get no dropouts, I get no interference. It works perfectly. Thanks for watching this bit of a gear show. Hopefully you've enjoyed looking at the gear I use and how I use it. Please check out the rest of our channel and subscribe if you want to be updated. Looking forward to the next video. Stay reckless.